The terrifying true incident on a deserted highway at midnight. Midnight Stories by Sagor. The weight of the night. Have you ever driven completely alone in the dead of night? When the clock strikes 3 and the highway ahead stretches out into an endless, pitch-black abyss. The headlights of your car feel like the only line of defense against a vast, consuming darkness. In those moments, your mind can play tricks on you. Every shadow looks like a silhouette. Every rustle of the trees looks like something reaching out. But sometimes, it isn't your mind playing tricks. Sometimes, the horror is entirely real. Turn off your lights, put on your headphones, and let's journey into the dark. Stranded in the rain. It was exactly 2:45 a.m. The rain had transformed from a gentle drizzle into a violent downpour. The highway was completely barren. No oncoming trucks, no streetlights, and absolutely no cell phone reception. Rahul's dashboard clock glowed a faint, pale green, casting an eerie light on his face. He was exhausted, his eyes strained against the thick fog blanketing the asphalt. All he wanted was to reach the safety of his home. Suddenly, the engine sputtered. The dashboard lights flickered twice and died. The car rolled to a silent, heavy stop on the muddy shoulder of the highway. Total silence descended inside the cabin, broken only by the aggressive thumping of the rain on the metal roof. Rahul sighed, frustration masking the sudden spike of unease in his chest. He tried turning the key. Nothing. The battery was completely dead. He was stranded, miles away from civilization, trapped in a metal box surrounded by nothing but deep, whispering woods. The standing man. With his phone showing 0 bars, Rahul had no choice but to wait. He leaned his head back against the seat, closing his eyes, trying to calm his racing thoughts. 10 minutes passed, then 20. Then, a sudden instinct made his eyes snap open. You know that feeling, the primal, evolutionary trigger that tells you are being watched? Rahul looked through the rain-streaked side window. Out there, under the canopy of the dense trees, just 5 feet away from his passenger door, stood a figure. It was a man. He wore a dark, heavy coat, drenched by the storm. He wasn't moving. He didn't have an umbrella. He was just standing there, perfectly still, staring directly through the glass at Rahul. Rahul's breath hitched. How had he approached without a sound? How long had he been standing there in the dark? Trying to stay calm, Rahul rolled the window down just an inch to speak. "Hey! Do you need help? My car is broken down." The man didn't answer. He didn't blink. But slowly, with agonizing slowness, the man raised his right arm and pointed a single, pale finger toward the road ahead. The unnatural revision. He was no longer 5 feet away. He was standing right against the glass of the passenger window. His face was pressed against the glass. But it wasn't a normal face. The skin was entirely bloodless, almost translucent. And his eyes, there were no whites, no pupils. Just 2 hollow, pitch-black voids staring into Rahul's soul. But the most terrifying part was his smile. A wide, unnatural grin that stretched far too wide across his face, revealing rows of sharp, decaying teeth. The entity began frantically scratching at the window glass, its fingers moving with impossible speed. Panic overtook Rahul. He slammed his body against the driver's side door, desperately turning the ignition key over and over again. "Come on! Please, come on!" he screamed. The glass began to crack under the pressure of the entity's grip. With one final, desperate turn of the key, the engine violently roared to life. The headlights flashed on, piercing through the fog. Without looking back, Rahul slammed his foot on the gas pedal. The tires screeched against the wet mud, and the car launched forward onto the asphalt. The lingering shadow. Rahul drove at breakneck speed until he finally hit the city limits and saw the bright, comforting lights of a gas station. He didn't sleep for 3 days. When he inspected his car the next morning, he found deep, jagged scratch marks etched into the thick metal of the passenger door, marks that no human fingers could ever leave. To this day, Rahul refuses to drive at night, because he knows that out there, on those forgotten, pitch-black highways, the shadows are alive, and they are waiting for the next car to break down. If tonight's story gave you chills, make sure to hit that like button, share this video with a fellow horror lover, and subscribe to Midnight Stories by Sagor for more journeys into the unknown. Until next time, keep your doors locked and stay safe in the dark. Good night. Present by Sagor.